Good morning, students. It is the last week before we leave for our Christmas break, and this is going to be a doozy because not only are you guys trying to catch up on grades, which are due on Tuesday if you want to guarantee improvement on your grade average, but we are also learning something new before the break. So we're going to take this step by step. We're going to go slow. I'm going to start off with something pretty easy, pretty fun. We're going to learn how to use a dichotomous key. And in order to do that, we have to review on some things that you learned in sixth grade. So let's take a look. So first off, main ideas. Today we're going to talk about classification of organisms. So the essential question is, how do scientists and others communicate information about living things? Okay, so what I want you to do is fill in these notes as I talk to you throughout the video. Please fill in the notes. That way you know exactly what we are doing and how to use a dichotomous key later. So first off, let's go ahead and start off at the beginning. There are over 10 million different species, okay? Different species or kinds of living things in the world. Another name for a living thing, you guys already should know this, is called an organism, okay? Organism. The act of sorting or grouping organisms based on similarities and differences is called classification. Classification. Okay. And that's what a dichotomous key is all about. We have these organisms that we don't know the names of. Okay. And we're going to use this key, this tool, to help us identify their name. Now, the cool thing about the dichotomous key is it's already set up in different categories and groups. You're going to have to look at the organism's specific features or characteristics in order to follow a path to the correct name. Okay, so this guy right here with the wig, this guy is pretty important. His name is Carolus. There you go. Carolus Linnaeus. Linnaeus. Okay. Oops, fat finger. A-U-S. Okay. So now this guy here, Carolus Linnaeus. He got tired of just saying, that's a dog, that's a dog, that's a dog, that's a dog, that's a cat, that's a cat, that's a cat, that's a cat. He came up with a system that gave every single species and every single category of species their own different name. Every organism has its own name, okay? That's why we call it Chihuahua, Chihuahua, and a Rottweiler, Rottweiler. Okay, they all have their own specific name. Now, Chihuahua and Rottweiler, those are just their common names, okay? He came up with something called a scientific name. Now, we're going to get into specifics right now, okay? So, moving on to the next one. The scientific name, the way it works is a scientific name of a species must follow some rules. First off, every scientific name of an organism has two words to it, okay? It's not just dog, it's not just cat. It's this, okay? It is written in Latin. Okay, that's why it kind of sounds funny. Latin or Greek. Okay, it is italicized or underlined. Okay, the first word of that pair is going to be capitalized. Capital. Okay, the first word is capital. The second word is lowercase. Lowercase. Okay, the first word in the genus. Okay, these are some things that we learned last year. Genus, and we'll review it. The first word is the genus it belongs to. Okay, so it belongs to this group. The second word is the species. Okay, so now we're getting more specific. So the first word is its genus. The second word is its species. So let's take a look at the polar bear. I know I'm going quick, but you can always pause and rewind and watch it again. But the polar bear, this guy right here, we know it as a polar bear. That is its just regular common name. But its genus is, and I'm gonna go ahead and italicize it. Ready? So it's Ursus. Okay, Ursus. Ursus means bear. Okay. And then the species, so Ursus is bear. This is a bear, but its species, because it's a polar bear, its species is Maritimus. Okay, Maritimus. Maritimus. Forgot another I. There we go. Ursus maritimus. That is a polar bear. Okay, so we call it polar bear, but in the scientific name, it belongs to Ursus. That's the genus, that's the group it belongs to. And then more specifically, because it's polar bear, Martimus. Okay, this wolf. All right, this wolf. Again, I'm going to italicize the name. It belongs to the genus Canis, right? And that should sound familiar, like a canine, right? Canis and then lupus. Okay, Canis lupus. Now, both of these are their scientific names. All right. I'm not expecting you to know their names, but I'm just trying to give you the backstory of why we have things like a scientific name, why we have things like a dichotomous key, because there's just way too many freaking things on this earth. Okay. And we have to know their names. This beetle might look like this beetle, but because this ladybug has 9 dots and this ladybug has 4 dots, they're not the same ladybug. You feel me? Okay, that's the whole idea. All right, so this is from elementary. This is from 6th grade. Remember, you had these levels of classifications. Okay, so Linnaeus also developed a system called the levels of classification as a way of grouping organisms together based on similar features such as size, shape, color, body characteristics, and methods of getting, believe this or not, food. Okay, the way they get food. So it was DKPCOFGS. Now, if you remember, D is domain, right? We had three domains. And then we went to kingdom, then phylum, then class, then order, then family, then genus, then species. The way you can remember that is this mnemonic device over here. Dear King Philip came, and I should say came over for good soup. Okay? Dear King Philip came over for good soup. That's it. That's how you can remember it. All right? Just like you remember the planets, right? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. My very excellent mother just served us nachos. All right? Same thing. All right, moving on. So let's see how this all works. We're going to look at a dog right here. This little guy right here belongs to the family Canis, right? We're going to say this is a wolf. And no, it doesn't look like a wolf. This is a Disney dog, okay? So it belongs to the domain Eukarya because it's got a eukaryotic principle. It's got a cell, right, with a nucleus. Then it becomes kingdom Animalia because it's an animal. Phylum Chordata, it's got a backbone. Class Mammalia, it's a mammal. Order Carnivora because it eats meat. Family Canidae becomes like a dog family, dog-ish. Genus Canis, now we're getting more specific with the dogs. And then species Canis lupus. All right. Notice every single thing started to disappear the smaller we got in our little levels of organization, right? And that's what is supposed to happen. All right, so real quick, definitions, okay? Definitions. So we have these definitions right here. These were the domains. Remember, I told you there was 3. You had bacteria, archaea, eukarya. All right, so first off, this is bacteria. Bacteria is a single-cell organism with no nucleus, okay? With no nucleus, all right? Archaea, these guys are wicked. These guys are the same thing as bacteria, except the last 2 lines, the last 2 words. They live in extreme environments. They can go super, super hot, super, super cold. Things like this can live on Venus, where nothing can live on Venus, but these can. Okay? And then eukarya, these guys have a nucleus in their cells. All right? And that's it. So go ahead and move those definitions over and fill in your little boxes there. Now we're going to go to the domain. Now the kingdoms. There are 6 kingdoms of life, but because we're in eukarya, I'm only going to worry about these 4. Okay? So first off, you have this guy right here. All right, you have this guy right here. What is that? That's a sloth. All right, so the sloth is an organism that, and here we go, we'll move this over. Organisms that eat other living things, right? That's it. You have the plant. The plant, let me move me out of the way because I am in the way. Sorry. The plant is a multi-cell organism, right, that can make their own food and have cell walls. A protist is a single-cell organism, okay, that can be plant-like, can be animal-like, can be fungi-like. This guy is like a little shapeshifter, okay? Then you have your fungi. That guy's right here. Absorbs foods from their surroundings, right? It eats decaying matter. Multi-celled, have cell walls and made of chitin, all right? Chitin. All right, so now here's what we're getting into. We're getting into this thing right here. This is the whole reason why we had to review. We are going to be learning something called a dichotomous key. All right, dichotomous key. Let me go ahead and make that word red. That way you can see it while you are writing in your notes. Okay, a dichotomous key. Now, this is a tool that scientists use. Okay. And the cool thing about dichotomous key is all you have to, even if you don't know how to use a dichotomous key right now, which none of you should know. Okay. But even if you don't know, all you have to do is follow the steps that it's asking you. Okay. So first off, is the organism, and you always start off at number one. You always start off at one. Is the organism singled or multi-cell? Well, this is a single cell organism. I only see one cell. So we're going to go here, and it says go to step 2. You are going to follow, if you look at these lines, okay? Organism, single cell organism, go to step 2. If it was a multi-cell organism, go to step 3. I wouldn't have to go to step 2. Okay? I know we're used to, like, we were taught you got to do this thing first, this thing second. You got to do number 1, number 2, number 3. With dichotomous key, those rules go out the window. You just follow the direction the key tells you to. Okay? So if this guy tells me to go to 2, I'm going to 2. If it told me to go to 304, I'm going to 304. I'm going to skip 2 all the way down through 303 and go to 304 because the key told me to. Okay, so if the organism is single cell, I go to 2. If it has a nucleus or doesn't have a nucleus, well, that thing right there says nucleus. So, I got the name. This is a protist. Okay, notice it doesn't tell me to go anywhere else because I found the name. That's it. I stop. If it wasn't something that had a nucleus, look, I had to go to step 5. So forget 3, forget 4, go to 5. Okay, but it had a nucleus. It's protist. Boom, I am done. I just named this organism. This is how simple dichotomous keys are. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. All right, so we have 6 different types of leaves. Now, you guys might have remembered leaves in elementary school. There's 2 things you need to know. There is a simple leaf and there is a compound leaf. And I'm going to show you what those differences look like. Okay, let me switch to green because we're talking about leaves. Okay, you see this guy right here. Okay, because it's one leaf on the stem, right? This is a simple leaf. This guy right here, okay, you see how here's the stem and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. Because that's more than one leaf. It could have 2, it could have 3. Because there's more than one leaf, this is a compound leaf. Okay? So that's going to come into play later. Let me go ahead and delete this stuff right here, get this out of the way. All right? So simple means only one leaf on the stem. Compound means you have more than one leaf on the stem. All right? So let's take a look at this guy right here, number 1. All right? If leaf seems to be made of smaller leaves, you go to step 2. Well, this is just one big leaf, so I know it is not that guy. If leaf doesn't branch off, we go to step 3. Here's an example of what I was talking about. Okay? Because it tells me to go to 3, I don't have to do number 2. Okay? I'm going to number 3. Okay? So I started off here. Okay? But then it told me to go to 3, so now I go here. Okay? So if the leaf appears to have sharp edges, I go to 4. If leaf appears to have rounded or smooth edges, I go to 5. So now I have to look at the characteristics. Here's my edges. Okay? Do these guys look kind of rounded or kind of sharp? To me, they look rounded. Okay? To me, they look rounded. So we're going to go ahead and go to number 5. Okay? We're going to go to number 5. Let me hide that out of the way. Okay. So I skipped 4. Now I go to 5. Okay? If the leaf is light green and in the shape of a fan, it's a ginkgo. Well, it's kind of dark green. The leaf is dark green with a very curvy outside. It is a white oak. Dark green, curvy outside. That's it. I found my answer. Okay, I found my answer. I'm going to go ahead and type it in. The name of this is called a white oak. Okay, and that's it. That's how you use a dichotomous key. It's that simple. You just look at the organism, you look at the characteristics, okay? You read each line of a dichotomous key, and if it tells you to go to step 2, you go to step 2. If it tells you to go to step 7, you go all the way to step 7, okay? You just follow the steps on the key. Now, when you are done with one, here's where students make the biggest mistake. When you are done with one, okay, you do not continue. Now that I answered this first one as white oak, now I'm going to look at this next guy. I'm going to start at 5. No, 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 no. Every time you look at a new organism, a new thing, a new picture, you always go back to number 1. Okay? So I am going to tell you right now, it is never, ever, ever a good thing to cross out any of these steps. If it tells you to go over here to step 2 and you cross it out because that's where that one told you to, do not do that, because you are going to have to use that same exact key for every single picture that's left behind. Okay? For every single picture. So what I would do if I were you, I'd probably put like just a little dot or a little tally mark or something. Something that tells me what to do. Or not even just do it at all. Okay? Just follow the steps. Okay? So I'm going to leave these 5 here, and I'm going to let you try. Every time you start with a new leaf, you go back up to number 1. If it tells you to go to step 2, you go to step 2. If it tells you to go to step 3, you go to step 3. Okay? And you stop when it gives you a name. Okay? You stop when it gives you a name, because there's no more steps to go to. Once you stop at a name, that's it. You've identified it. Okay? Now, that's one type of dichotomous key. Okay? This is our standard dichotomous key, what I'm showing you right here. The other thing that they've got going on here is kind of like a flow chart. Now, this one's cool too. I like this one because it's kind of the same thing. You start off, we're classifying fish. Okay, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different fish. I already put 2 there for you. We've got 4 different fish over here. To me, fish is fish. I don't know the difference between fish. Okay? I'm going to have to look at their characteristics just like you guys. Okay? Cool thing about this is you're going to be able to drag and drop. But what I'm going to refer to is this guy right up here. Okay? This guy right up here. This is going to be important. Take a look. Use the flowchart to help you identify the 6 fish. Well, I already found 2 for you. When you think you've correctly identified, drag it to it. Okay? This guy right here is going to be important because take a look at the first 2 boxes. Is the fish over 40 centimeters? Is the fish under 40 centimeters? So you're going to have to go ahead and grab a fish. So I'm going to do that right now. Grab this top one, this blue one. I'm going to put it right over the little guy here. Okay, so let me scoot it over just a little bit so that way my fish is at the line. But I can take a look and I can tell from the back, from right at the start, that this guy is over 40. Okay, so I'm going to grab him and move him over here. So he belongs to over here. Does he have less than 3 dorsal fins, or does he have more than 3 dorsal fins? Dorsal fins are the fins that are on top. Okay, those are these guys right up here. Right up here, the top of his body. So I see 1, 2, 3. Nope, that's 3 right there. I know automatically just by that characteristic, that is the cod. Okay, that is the codfish. All right, and I've got a couple of guys down here. Fish is over or under, so I'm going to go drag it. Well, this guy is definitely under, so I'm in the right spot. It's going to be over here on this side. Spikes or no spikes? Well, if I'm looking at the dorsal fin, I don't see spikes. So now I'm over here. Is it yellowish or brownish? Yellowish, it's a tilapia. Okay? So It's the same thing as a dichotomous key. In fact, it is another way of looking at a dichotomous key. The only difference is now, instead of having it question by question by question by question, you just follow the flow chart. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same exact thing. So what I want you to do, obviously, these are two very simple things left over. I want you to put those guys in the right spot, but follow the key. Don't cheat. Oh, that one goes here, that one goes there. Follow the chart. It's going to help you later on. Today, I'm just going to keep drilling and drilling and drilling dichotomous keys into your head. This week, dichotomous, 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 dichotomous. You are going to practice dichotomous keys every single day this week. Okay? This is one of those STAR test topics that you'll see next year when your 8th graders taking the STAR test. Okay? So you have to make sure you understand this dichotomous key concept right now. Okay? So today, I want you to fill in these notes like how I explained them. Okay? It's not too much to write in. I want you to find the other 5 names of these leaves here, and then go ahead and move these 2 fish over. Okay, that's step number 1. Number 2, in your folder, okay, and it's not there now. I'm going to put it right there as soon as I'm done with this video. So by the time you're looking at this, it is in your folder. In your folder, okay, you are going to have a practice assignment called dichotomous key buttons. Okay, so this dichotomous key buttons is real simple. Since we've practiced dichotomous keys, you figured out plants. That's the hardest one to ever figure out, guys. If you figured this out, you're going to be good the rest of the week. But because dichotomous keys is important, we are going to keep practicing, and now we're going to practice with buttons. Okay, there are 10 different buttons. What I want you to do is on slide 4 and 5, use your dichotomous key and try to follow the steps. See how it says go to 2, go all the way to 7? Follow the steps, okay? And then identify the button. Each button has its own name. The button's not going to be, oh, this is an oval button. This is a pinkish button. They're going to have names. You're going to write in those names, okay? We're going to check this tomorrow. So make sure you're done. I'm also going to be checking throughout the day whether you've opened the assignment or not. I can do that. I have that capability. So please don't wait till tomorrow. Get the practice in now, okay? All right, I will see you later. You guys have a great day. Stay safe, all that goodness, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.